Gandalf aided the dwarves in reclaiming Erebor, but what if I told you that there was a much bigger plan at hand than just him helping the dwarves reclaim the Lonely Mountain? You see, Gandalf was an Istari and he was sent on Middle-earth on a special mission. And in today's video I will explain to you the exact plan why Gandalf truly wanted to help the dwarves in reclaiming the Lonely Mountain. Gandalf was one of the Istari, one of the 5 wizards who were sent by the Valar to aid the free people of Middle-earth. They were there to guide them, not to dominate them. But Gandalf was the only one who stayed true to the mission during the entire time that they were in Middle-earth. You see, Sauron is just a Sauron wannabe. Radagast only cared about the beasts and birds, and the 2 blue wizards just vanished in the east. But Gandalf was always finding a way to guide elves, men and dwarves into doing the right thing and guiding them towards defeating Sauron. And in 2850, Gandalf wanted to visit Dol Guldur once again, with this mission in his mind, because he feared that the necromancer who was staying in Dol Guldur was actually none other than Sauron himself, being there in disguise. And this time he went in secret, and I say this time because he went there before, in the year 2063, and he wanted to find out if the necromancer is truly Sauron, but the necromancer fled into the east, so this time he went in secret. And he did not only discover that the necromancer was truly Sauron, but also that there was a prisoner there in the dungeons of Dol Guldur. And this was none other than Thrain, the father of Thorin Oakenshield. And although he did not remember his own name, he gave to Gandalf a map and key to Erebor and said to give it to his son. But before Gandalf could truly ask who his son really is, he passed away. So Gandalf held on the map and key to Erebor for over 90 years. Gandalf tried to persuade the White Council to attack Dol Guldur, since this was their mission to fight Sauron to work against him. But Saruman was kind of hindering his plans and didn't really like it that Gandalf was taking the upper hand and said, we have to wait and see, and look what will happen. So Gandalf was always on his mind with Sauron. What should we do with Sauron? Why is Saruman hindering my plans? What is happening? And then he suddenly realized a big danger. Yes, he thought of a collaboration between Sauron and Smaug, and this would be devastating for the entirety of Middle-earth. There are a couple of reasons why this would benefit Sauron. First of all, the orcs could easily move from east to west across the Lonely Mountain. They could go back to Angmar and re-establish the fortress of Khardin Dûn, which would mean that Sauron would have a bigger land to control and would be more dominating towards the free people of Middle-earth. But not only this, with Smaug's fiery wrath, he could easily destroy the elven kingdoms like Lorien or Rivendell, and the destruction of Rivendell would be catastrophic for the future of Middle-earth. Where would the council take place? Where would the fellowship be formed? Where would Frodo go to deliver the ring and then eventually decide to bring it to Mount Doom? Even Aragorn, during the War of the Ring, he is fighting for his love Arwen to be with her after he reclaimed the kingdom of both Gondor and Arnor. But with the destruction of Rivendell and Lorien, who would he fight for? His love is gone, and even depending on when Smaug is attacking, Aragorn could be there in Rivendell as well. He could be defeated. So Gandalf was with this on his mind and was thinking, what could I do? What could I do to make this better? What could I do against this? And what would you do if your mind is exploding with what could happen? You have to clear your head. And that is what Gandalf was going to do. In March of 2941, he wanted to go back to the Shire once again, surrounded by hobbits, clearing his head, which would be great for his mind to think clearly once again, because his mind is full of thoughts of what could happen and he doesn't think clearly. He needs to rest his mind so he could go and think of a great plan to stop Sauron's plan of collaborating with Smaug. But before he entered, he stayed at an inn at Bree. And this is where fate intervened. Yes, there was a chance meeting there, because Thorin was there as well. He was on his way back to his halls in the Blue Mountains. And there Thorin spoke to Gandalf, asking him for aid because he was troubled with Smaug doing his people wrong. And he wanted to see what he could do. So Gandalf and Thorin went together to his halls in the Blue Mountains, and there they discussed a daring plan. Gandalf said that the best way to defeat Smaug and to go to Erebor is to go with a small company of dwarves and to go in secret. Because the dwarf didn't have the dwarf power anymore like they used to have. During the War of Dwarves and Orcs, which I have covered deeply here on this channel, a lot of dwarves had died. There are still dwarves left, but not that numerous and not that big of an army to go and fight a dragon. So that is why he suggested to go in secret, and he suggested to take Bilbo with him. Although Thorin was not really fond of this idea because he knows these hobbits, he has seen them many times on his way to the Blue Mountains. He thinks of them like this little farmer people who doesn't really care about the rest of the world. They aren't ready for an adventure. They aren't ready to do such a big quest. But Gandalf persuaded Thorin that the hobbit needs to go with him. If they want to go in secret, they need a hobbit. Smaug doesn't know a hobbit. He doesn't know what they are. He doesn't know how they smell, which would give them a chance. Let's face it, Smaug had eaten a lot of dwarves, so he definitely knows what a dwarf smell like. So that is why, to go secretly into the halls of Erebor, they needed to go and use a hobbit. And this hobbit, Bilbo Baggins, just changed the fate of many, because during the quest for Erebor, he had found the ring, given it to Frodo so Frodo could destroy it when the time came. And all of this because Gandalf had a foresight upon him. Gandalf was thinking of what could be done to defeat Sauron, to hinder Sauron's plans, because he stayed on his mission, and he was the only one of the 5 Istari who did. And if you want to know more on why Gandalf was truly the only one who stayed on course, then this is your next video to watch, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.